our time together. So you will be able to find live English closed captioning by selecting the CC icon on the bottom row of your screen. We ask that you please mute your microphone and turn off your camera when you are not speaking to conserve bandwidth. You may post on-topic comments whenever you like in the chat. And in case you've missed it just a moment ago, we are recording so that those who cannot attend will be able to access the information afterwards. And finally, if you can please rename yourself in the little participant box with the same name that you used to register so that we can put you in a breakout room for your preferred language. So unfortunately, we don't have interpretation in today's event, but we are offering breakout rooms with facilitation in Spanish and in French. So just a little bit about the Leading Through Learning Global platform. The Education and Crisis and Conflict Network is part of USAID's Leading Through Learning Global platform, which includes 2 other global learning networks, the Higher Education Learning Network, or HELEN, and the Global Reading Network, or GRN, as well as regional hubs in Latin America and the Caribbean, Africa, and Washington, D.C. So we hope that in addition to staying tuned to the ECCN, you will also be interested in collaboration across this platform. If you are not already a member, you can register now to receive invitations to future events for all of the networks and hubs, as well as other opportunities to convene with fellow members and engage. So it is just so exciting to be together again. Before we get started, we would like to we'd love to hear right away from you about how you're feeling as an ECCN member and what you're interested in engaging around together. So here, today, and beyond. And so we're going to launch a brief survey and ask that you respond. So I'm not sure that I see the survey. So I'm just going to pause a minute for our producer to be able to put that up. The poll will ask you these following questions about your current level of engagement with ECCN, and we ask that you choose one.
Kate, we're now seeing the results of the poll. Are you able to see that?
No, I am not seeing that.
It's possible that your window is obscuring it. If it's helpful, I can read out the results and hopefully our participants can see them too.
Please do.
So we have 35% of respondents saying that they are not an ECCN member, but interested in today's topic. 33% saying that they're a member and they have been since before 2020. 30% saying that they are a member and joined in 2021 to 2022 when the ECCN relaunched, and 3% saying not sure, just here to learn more.
Okay, wonderful. So we have a good mix of friends, old and new, and people who are just exploring membership in this consultation. So that is wonderful. We would also like to ask about the primary geographic area of your work. So we will also now launch a poll and I think use the same system to ask where you are working, not necessarily where you are physically located.
So Kate, we're ready with the results again. If you'd like me to read them out.
Yes, please do.
Great. So 73% of folks said that their primary geographic area of work is in Africa. 32% said Asia. Oh, I'm sorry. 35% said Latin America, 32% said Asia, 27% said the Middle East, and 19% said Europe and Eurasia. So
Great.
nearly 3/4 working in Africa.
So, which it's great to have such intense interest and engagement from Africa and to have such a nice distribution across the rest of the world. Apologies to those who missed the opportunity to click. I can see you in the chat and I'm very glad to have you posting there as well. So yeah, regardless of where you are in your engagement with ECCN to date, I really hope that we will be able to meet you where we are and preview some of the benefits of deeper engagement in the network as we shape this journey together. So today, we are aiming to meet some of your desired ways of engaging. So thinking about defining what makes the ECCN distinct from some of the other professional networks you might be involved with, to understand how your emerging needs can be reflected in ECCN's topical priorities, and to discuss future opportunities for meaningful dialogue, networking, and relationship building. I am really pleased to introduce some key leaders for the ECCN who have helped make today's event possible and will support our facilitation today. These are the members of the ECCN steering group. So this wonderful group of people came together for the first time in March, and they have already demonstrated collaboration and elevation of cross-organizational priorities in the realm of education in crisis and conflict. The focus of our conversation today follows from their identification of a list of topical priorities for us to tackle as a network. So a very warm welcome to those steering group members who are joining us today, and warm thanks to those who are helping us to co-facilitate some of the breakout rooms. So these are the topical priorities that the steering group has defined. You can see them on the slide. So we are focused as a network on strengthening resilience capacities at the local level, enhancing the safety of learning environments, a focus on student and educator well-being in crisis or after conflict follows hand in hand with that, and then ensuring quality educational access through equity and inclusion for out-of-school or crisis-affected learners. And as a cross-cutting two themes, we want to explore locally led solutions and contextualization, as well as making sure that we are using, supporting, building crisis and conflict relevant data monitoring and evaluation methods. So I can see there are still active introductions going on in the chat, which is wonderful. But let us jump right in. Today, we are here to co-create what makes ECCN different and how it can be the most useful for you. We hope to tackle all of the topical priority areas through activities, events, and more in the coming months. And we'll be fleshing these out and responding to your emerging needs through conversations like this and other formal processes like the Leading Through Learning call for concept notes that were submitted in June and are currently under review. So with that in mind, we're now going to go deeper and talk about what ECCN can provide that you may not be finding in other networks and professional development platforms where you are a member, or what you may be finding that is complementary to those networks. So now we will split into self-selected breakout rooms organized by one of the 6 ECCN topical priorities. We have 2 additional breakout rooms that are organized by language in Spanish and French. Each room will have a facilitator from our steering group who will help to ensure that all voices are heard. And then we will use popcorn feedback for sharing back when we reconvene. So you will be free to contribute into the main room. We will not have rapporteurs, but we will provide a link to a Jamboard in the chat box during your breakout group. Welcome back, everyone. I know there is no easy way to pull people back from Zoom breakout rooms, so I apologize if we caught anyone mid-sentence or mid-idea. We can see from the Jamboards how active all of these discussions were, so thank you. I'd now like to open the floor for popcorn feedback from the group. And the first question that I would ask you to respond to is, what was the most exciting thing that you heard in your discussion group? And feel free to turn on your camera or unmute your mic and say, or to post in the chat.
Should I start, Kate?
Go ahead.
So I was in the Spanish breakout room. It was great. It was, yeah, I was very, very happy with the people who joined. A few, but very interesting conversations. So I would say that the highlight and what I really enjoyed about listening to the members of that group is that something that they are looking for in terms of, like, we talked actually about the different priorities, but something that was really interesting was the fact of the need, or of identifying the need of having a knowledge management platform in ECC and in the LAC region that can eventually inform public policy, like, you know, like to do some advocacy and to advance some other responses to education in crisis and conflict. So I'll leave it there. Everything is on the Jamboard.
Thank you. And thanks to Henry in the chat, a broader, more inclusive interpretation of inclusion in quality education. Who else? What exciting thing did you hear that you will carry into the rest of your day?
Yeah, I was in group 2. I was in group 2, and I was really very happy with the members of my group, because I discovered that the child safety and the safe environment that is a concern to my country, Nigeria, is also a concern to so many other countries. And I'm much more excited because I can see there is opportunity of receiving help from networks and from other countries who can give us better practices that they do, because the child must keep learning with crisis or without crisis. So I'm so excited that I have people with similar minds thinking about the safety of the child, providing safe environment for the learners. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share an exciting comment or thought or idea from their group?
Kate, I can share one. One of the most exciting locally led examples that I have seen is a roundtable of ministers of education from Pakistan and Nigeria sharing their practices for keeping schools safe from attack, directly from one to the other, and sharing how many lessons learned and strengths of practices they shared.
Thanks so much for that, Cynthia. So I think maybe we'll move to our second question. And if something exciting occurs to you, please also feel free to respond to that first one. So we want to open the mic and offer you the opportunity to give us a piece of advice as we explore how we add value in this larger community of education in crisis and conflict. What is one piece of advice that you would like for us to take away from this session about how we can be of better service to you as members? Please go ahead. I can see your hand raised.
Okay, so one thing I would like for us to take away is we need to find a way of introducing psychosocial support in our education curriculum, especially for communities or states or conflict affected states, because the reality is the traumatic experience of children in these areas is very, very well, it's not well considered. When we think of child protection, safety, and all of that, a lot of times we really do not look at PSS. And the truth is, because of trauma, a lot of these children are not meeting learning outcome. A lot of them are not meeting learning outcomes. So I think ECN needs to look at how we can embed PSS in our curriculum, either through advocacy, begin to talk to our state government and national government to see how PSS will become a concern in the education policies of our different countries. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that. And I can hear the passion and the excitement in your voice around that. So I really appreciate that contribution. Is there anyone else who would like to offer us advice?
Kate, just something that two members of my group mentioned, I was in the second group on safe learning environments, was sort of intersectoral connections. So safety, looking at physical safety, for example, linking to health or nutrition, and how health and education intersect in schools to make kids physically safe. So I thought that was an interesting, like maybe helping make those intersectoral links.
Thanks so much. And I can see some upvotes for that with participants using the emojis.
Okay. I'm wondering if it is possible that we can have something like a regional, maybe regional group, maybe online group like WhatsApp group, where I can ask questions and can be given answers almost immediately, that this is what the situation is, what have you done in your own side that has worked, that I can also replicate to solve the problem at hand. So something like a WhatsApp group, regional one, maybe within Africa or West Africa or something from your support.
Okay. Yeah, real-time communication among members. That is a great suggestion. Susan, I see your hand raised.
Yes, just to say one question came up, which was how can ECCN know more about my organization? My response was join your regional hub under Wale, and you know that would certainly help you make connections, but maybe that as people become interested in ECCN, that we are able to, you know, make sure folks know how to get connected.
Victor, I can see that you've unmuted. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, hello.
We hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for having me, but I'm very sorry. I can't leave because in joining I have one or two difficulties, but I'm highly interested in a webinar on the basis. I'm speaking from Liberia, West Africa, and I'm very grateful to be part of. I'm very grateful to be part of the UC educational program. This is my first time being part of your program, and I am, let's say, aware of the many contributions have been made by UC globally, which I've been wishing to get part of the program, which is very important for my community and for the world at large. And what I really like to contribute has to do with how we as a community can really work along with the organization to see how best that we can contribute to our community back home that will help our young generation to be able to grow up positively to contribute to the world.
Thank you so much for that, Victor, and a very warm welcome since this is your first time. And I can see we have 3 hands raised and very short of time, so I'll ask you to keep your comments short. Mike, did you want to unmute?
Sure, yeah. my comment really quick is in response to your second question there in terms of piece of advice. I think a lot of us come with different levels of background and expertise regarding some of the content areas. And so I think gathering people around sort of like a 101 intro or primer sort of engagement on this topic, sort of our organization is new to this and we want to move into this area. And maybe other conversations that are folks who have been doing things for a long time, maybe more experienced and are kind of sharing a lot more sort of breadth and depth of their experience around certain content areas. I think that would be helpful.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Wafa, did you want to unmute and share something?
Yes, my comment is maybe we can try to explore more tools and ways to make the voice of society heard, especially the youth and underserved communities. Probably also make them interested in participation, give them the tools, use maybe the new social media tools like TikTok. We see everyone is sharing through TikTok, and it makes influence and huge impact on different societies. So probably we ask them to share ideas, concerns, thoughts. How can we help them? It's not just the civil society organizations or NGOs or government or whoever is coming, other actors coming in, but these are the groups that we are working for, and we need to bring them into the process. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is a really beautiful and important reminder. And so with apologies to Gustavo, I'm going to transition into the closing of our webinar, and thank you all very much for participation. We would like to launch a final poll to ask you about some of the practical ways of working together that you would like to see. So I think you can see the poll on your screen. And so I will ask Kim to administer that and then to read the results to us. In the meantime, thank you so much for the comments that you're putting in the chat. They are so helpful, and we will certainly, record them and analyze them and take them into account. So Kim, over to you when you have the poll results available.
Thanks, Kate. We have 70% responding and rising. There's a lot of energy for this question. Okay, I think I'll pause it there. And for our results, it looks like a pretty even split here. We have 24% had selected the option of gaining access to practical tools and guidance on implementing activities. We had 22% sharing learning from my organization's research or programming and gaining insights on USAID policies and programming. Oh, and networking to identify ways to collaborate. Even split there. And then the last, the lowest ranked option was learning emerging good practices.
Okay, well, thank you very, very much for that. This is just so helpful. And as we close, I would like to ask you to please stay tuned for our future network events. For example, next Tuesday on August 30th, members of our community will share their thoughts and insights on COVID-19 education responses. This event is now at capacity, but if you are joining, we will see you there and be very happy to do so. If you're not registered, we will be making that webinar recording available on EduLinks following the event. Yeah, so I really want to thank you today for your participation and your inputs, which will influence our future directions. And I'm looking forward to advancing all of our work together around these topics through ECCN. The link to our new sign-up form is in the chat box and at the top of this QR code. I've also posted an email address in the chat, USAID ECCN @edc.org, where you can always find us if you have a question, an idea, or a comment. So huge thanks to all of you, and have a wonderful rest of the day and rest of the week.